After being trapped in development for 11 years, Ubisoft's hotly anticipated pirate adventure Skull and Bones has finally hit the shelves. If you haven't kept up with this game's exceptionally storied history, then, well, to put it in pirate terms, let's just say the waters regarding its development were a little rough, to say the least. First envisioned all the way back in 2013, the game was initially planned to be an expansion to Assassin's Creed Black Flag. But over time, the scope of the project grew, and the developers, Ubisoft Singapore, eventually decided to make the project into a full spin-off MMO titled Black Flag Infinite. However, the original technology that the game was built on eventually became outdated. You know, like a lot of Ubisoft's current popular games. This resulted in the developers shifting away from the game being solely a spin-off into its own fully independent project. Officially revealed at E3 2017, Skull and Bones was originally slated for a 2018 release, but as development continued, the overall vision of the game changed multiple times, with clashing ideas and an overall lack of direction being cited as the major issues in the early development of Skull and Bones, resulting in numerous delays and reportedly costing Ubisoft over $120 million in development costs, which is just about what it costs to buy all the DLC and microtransactions for one of their games. But now that the game's release is finally here, the big question is, was it all worth the wait? At first, I was expecting the game to be a lot like Rare's own swashbuckling adventure, Sea of Thieves, a game I really do enjoy and have personally put a decent amount of time into. But aside from a general veneer of pirate aesthetics, the games could not be any more different. Whereas Sea of Thieves is an extremely immersive and at times a fairly hardcore gaming experience, as much as I hate to use that term, Skull and Bones takes a more casual and relaxed approach to the world of imaginary piracy. Now, a lot of my video game-based swashbuckling experience comes from Sea of Thieves. I'm going to go ahead and preface this review by saying I'm going to be comparing Skull and Bones to Sea of Thieves a whole heck of a lot. I know, it's not the only other pirate game out there, but it's pretty much the go-to game if ye be craving some booty. And being a live service game, because it's 2024, we can't have any games that aren't live service or survival craft, the game is kind of directly competing with Sea of Thieves, so I think it's really only fair to compare the new up-and-comer with what I consider to be the gold standard of the pirate genre. In my initial hours with the game, I really wasn't disappointed to discover that the game's played so differently. In fact, I kind of enjoyed that Skull and Bones had a more laid-back arcade-style approach. And while I do enjoy Sea of Thieves, I can't by any means call that game relaxing. Keeping up with all the duties of your ship and the constant threat of being sunk by an enemy player does add a level of fun tension, but it's tension nonetheless. In Skull and Bones, a lot of these more in-depth mechanics are either reduced in scope or just outright absent, and this can primarily be seen while you captain your ship. Controlling a ship in Skull and Bones is extremely easy, as almost everything is handled by your very own crew of AI swabbies. While you have full control of where the ship goes and where your weapons fire, they handle everything from sail direction to ship repairs and reloading cannons. If your ship takes some damage, don't worry about getting below deck to patch it up with some boards. With just a couple button presses, you can use a repair kit and be back to full health in no time. While gameplay may be toned down a little bit in comparison to other pirate games, the game does have a good bit going for it in terms of progression. One thing I really just did not enjoy about Sea of Thieves is that all the grinding you do for gold and reputation is really only for unlocking new cosmetics. It's understandable, the game does have a PvP focus and they want to keep the playing field as level as possible, but it's really annoying when you realize you just spent 15 hours grinding the same 5 islands for a shovel with a different color. Skull and Bones, however, has actual statistical progression that increases and improves as you level up your character. Being more of a pirate RPG, you can improve every aspect of your ship. There are a whole slew of upgrades to be had that can increase the power of your vessel. You can forge new and more powerful cannons to deal more damage to enemies, or outfit your hull with different kinds of specialized armor that each provide their own resistances to different damage types like explosions or fire. But perhaps the best part of it all is the variety of different ships you can unlock that each have their own sets of attributes and skills. The customization offered with your ship adds a whole new layer of depth to the game, particularly in combat. It's just a shame that all of this great groundwork the game establishes early on is pretty much wasted when you get more than a few hours into the game. Like I said, Skull and Bones is an extremely casual game, and there's nothing wrong with that. Having more casual experiences opens the medium to more people I'm kidding. If you're a baby, you should stick to playing baby games like this, while us real gamers are playing Dark Souls and Halo 2 Legendary with all skulls turned on. Like real, actual, big time gamers with hair on our chests. What? You play video games? Relax. No, I'm a real gamer. See, I got Mountain Dew diet because doctor saying I'm pre-diabetic. All I drink's Mountain Dew. Eat hot Frito. Eat hot chip and lie. I got the man himself right here, Wesley, Marky Moo. Love you, baby. I'm a real gamer. Obviously, gamer merch. It's just what I am. Real gamer repping. Just gaming hard. I don't play video games to relax. I'm a real gamer. It's my job. That's what I do. I don't go to work. I play games. I play games like a real gamer. A real hardcore gamer man. I play video games so I can get so frustrated I punch holes in my wall and yell at my parents when they tell me to, go outside and like talk to people, like women, because they don't want me to like live alone in their basement forever. I'm a real gamer, real gaming. Yeah, I don't play games for fun. I hate video games. I really do, actually. No, but in all seriousness, at first I did enjoy what the game had to offer, but when I realized that this was all it had to offer, I quickly became bored. And it's because it's lacking a lot of the finer details and mechanics that make it a true pirate experience. A lot of this stems from the main gameplay feature of captaining your ship. As this is a pirate game, you'll obviously be spending a lot of time on your ship. Big freaking boats are like one of the major things that make a pirate, but it's not the only facet of piracy. Aside from a handful of areas, there's really very little on-foot gameplay to be had in Skull and Bones. Anytime you actually get to leave your ship, it's only to do extremely menial things like talk to vendors or hand in quests. Yeah, I know, sailing a big old boat is like one of the main things people think of when they hear the word pirate, but it's not the only thing that makes a pirate a pirate. There's scabies and missing limbs, eye patches, parrots. You can't even have a sword fight with other nefarious scoundrels, and looking for treasure is just as basic as walking around on an island and waiting for a glowing indicator to show up right out of the ground. Even when you go out and gather resources, you don't leave your ship at all. All you do is just stroll up right beside whatever you're trying to collect, do a basic QTE, and then boom, it's magically in your cargo. I'm sure this sounds like a nitpick, but just being able to leave your ship and go out and chop down a tree or mine some ore would have added so much more depth and interactivity to the experience and made it feel a lot better than how it feels right now. This isn't the only area that would have benefited from actual player intervention. When you're fighting ships, you eventually get the option to board the enemy vessel for extra loot. Now you would think this would involve actually, boarding the enemy ship yourself and doing some cool sword fights or something, but all you do is just press a button and watch a cutscene as your crew does all the fun stuff automatically. But easily the worst offender of all of this is when you go to plunder a settlement, and it could have been one of the most fun things in the game had they just given it a little more depth. When you decide to actually go plunder someplace, again, it's all just the press of a button, and you sit back and watch while your crew does all the actual fun pirate stuff. Now, to be fair, I will give the game some credit. There is a little bit of gameplay here, but it's all exceptionally basic. Usually there will be a watchtower or some kind of guard encampment placed in the village that you have to destroy, but it's literally as simple as sitting in one spot and trading shots back and forth. Now, sometimes an enemy ship or two will show up that you have to take care of, though most of the time you will just be sitting there with your hook up your bum, waiting for the plunder meter to fill up at the top of your screen. And unless you count sailing around the ocean, which I don't, there's so much world out there that you really don't even get to explore, and it's such a bummer because there's a lot of potential there that, again, goes entirely wasted. As you sail around, you constantly pass settlements, ruins, and other beautiful vistas that you don't even get to visit. So many spots in the map would make for excellent set pieces or levels, but once again, they go entirely unused. The whole world just feels like one of those fake Western towns you see in movies or TV. Flat facades propped up on stilts that only barely feel like a real living world. Skull and Bones is honestly a decent enough game in a few ways. All of the mechanics that are here actually work. I didn't run into any major bugs or anything, and there is a decent amount of progression there for those willing to slog through and actually pursue it, but it just misses the most important aspect that I feel you need to have in a pirate video game, and it's that I just do not feel like a pirate at all. Sure, sailing around and fighting other ships is fun for a little bit, but the game is missing so many of the finer details that tie the whole experience together. Once again, I do want to say I did actually enjoy the simplicity of Skull and Bones at first, and while I said many of the mechanics in Sea of Thieves could feel overwhelming at times, playing Skull and Bones actually made me appreciate the complexity of Sea of Thieves a whole lot more. Even looking past the simple aspect of captaincy, Sea of Thieves allows you to disembark and fully explore the islands around you. Granted, most of them are extremely bare bones, skeleton pun fully intended. It's genuine exploration that's just not offered in Skull and Bones. Plus, Sea of Thieves lets you actually clash blades with enemies and knock back grog with your friends.
The gang's all here.
Things that are arguably minor in scope, but they do add a ton in making you feel like an actual pirate. And that's where Skull and Bones fails. I don't feel like a pirate when I'm playing this game. I feel like a boat. Writing a script and getting my words out onto paper where they don't sound like the ramblings of a madman is always the hardest part for me when I'm making a video. And for some reason, it was particularly difficult for me to get a script together for Skull and Bones. At first, I just assumed it was a massive case of writer's block, but eventually I realized usually when I make a video, a game is often bad enough that I can clown on it pretty easily, or just as in the case with Power World, which was a video I did, you should go check out, the game is good enough to where there's a lot of positives to talk about. But with Skull and Bones, the game was just so mediocre. It was really hard to come up with anything to say about it because it's kind of just a big nothing burger. There is almost nothing in Skull and Bones that makes me feel like a true blue swashbuckling pirate. I'm not invested in my character, the middling story, or the lackluster world because I'm doing nothing aside from driving a big boat around and shooting at other boats from time to time. The game offers none of the aspects of adventure that comes with being a pirate, and in terms of raw immersion, other games offer so much more for way less money. That's another thing too, this is a full-priced $70 game that is bringing so little to the table. And it's even better when, get this, Ubisoft CEO even said that this game should be considered a quadruple A gaming experience. Not it's better than AAA. It's quadruple A. That's just, talk about hubris. That's insane. That is insane to even consider this game really is anything other than an ah. This is an ah game. I'm sorry, but if it took Ubisoft 11 years to bring this game to light, and this is all they have to show for it, they should just go ahead and shut the whole company down, because calling this a quadruple A game is an absolute joke. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and let me know what you thought of the video down in the comments below. And be sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss another video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Take care.